Been at it already, had my tarot read. Things are looking up for me, that's what my tarot said. Been pumping out pheromones and wearing red. Young Jerry Lolliver king, but they're not aware of it. $40 to show money, that's what they stole from me. Blow it all bowling, guess I roll funny. Go find me a snow bunny, ask if this cold world's making her nose runny. She melted, I wear a cape that is velvet. Couldn't see it, she felt it. See it all like I'm Elvis, move my hips like I'm Elvis. I don't pitch it, I sell it. Couldn't picture me jealous, turning fans into zealots. Tuning in when I tell it. There were 15 people at the gig, saying, oh my God, what fun this is. Did it all, did it right, did it big. Yeah, buddy, we were loving it. New cards, new deck, new life. King of Cups, he comes up right. Always, all days, all nights. Sing do-wah, do-wah, do-wah. New cards, new deck, new life. King of Cups, he comes up right. Always, all days, all nights. Sing do-wah, do-wah, do-wah. Highly gifted, my jacket's thrifted. Watch me get a pattern shifted, just acting different. Living in my minutes, I'm catalytic. That's why they love to jack the style like it's on a Civic. I will never pull the strings like an oligarch. I do my dance at the club with the lonely hearts. Watching all these little men try and be Bonapartes and make the rest of us deal with their broken parts. Despite evil, I like people. Put your hands in the air if you're bipedal. Yeah, if life is a film, give me 5 sequels. Trying to pull my thread through the plot like a fine needle. All of these lines equal proof that I live alone. Got the benefit of time to deliver flows. Eating creamy peanut butter, buddy, I lick the bowl. Brings my soul body into the physical. New cards, new deck, new life. King of Cups, he comes up right. Always, all days, all nights. Sing do-wah, do-wah, do-wah. New cards, new deck, new life. King of Cups, he comes up right. Always, all days, all nights. Sing do-wah, do-wah, do-wah.
I'm such a weirdo, tattoos from my toes to my earlobes. Was a role model, I never had a hero. I learned how to live through the stereo. Coming from where I come from, the inferior. Everything you see ain't what it appears though. Everything that I built, made that from zero, then added a zero. I am my hero. You couldn't imagine what it's like in my mind. It's beauty and catastrophe at the same time. Remember they laughed at me when it was game time. Now I know that they mad at me, I'm one you can't find. I'm not from the day, I come alive at night. I'm not what you used to, couldn't recognize. They all
Hey, what's up, America, and welcome inside of Season 3, Episode number 11 of the OH.Report video podcast. And as you can see on the graphic below, we're going intergalactic now. That's right, we're #1 all over the universe. So no matter where you're watching from, I'm very glad that you tuned in, but I can almost guarantee you'll be glad you did, because this very well may be the best 45 minutes of the next 3/4 hours of your day. I'm Brian Skoronsky, and I'm not alone tonight, not riding solo. Travis Berardi is back with me. How we doing tonight, Big League?
It's nice to be back in the studio. Took a nice trip up the Willard with one Joe Baylog. Started shooting some things for the Joe Show. It's going to be airing Season 2 here shortly, but talked to our producer, Adam Thompson's good friend, his favorite basketball player in North Central Ohio, Max Dawson and whatnot. So stay tuned to that, but I'm doing well. Decently good weekend so far, other than a couple things, but
the weekend's over. I hate to break it to you.
It was a good weekend.
I'm sorry. Like,
I said so far, I don't know why.
Yeah, it's in the rear view now, buddy.
I'm having fun, so it feels like a full
Victory
weekend.
Monday, Browns fans. Oh, that's why it's only having a good
yeah.
week so far. I get what's going on. But hey, we got an awesome show coming up for you guys. We got a state champion turned national champion. Taylor Huff of Florida State is going to call in near the end of the show to break down for us what it's been like probably partying for an entire week. The Browns now control their own destiny in the playoff picture. Can you believe it? With old man Flacco, my age, at the helm, he's out there Willen and Dylan. Lucus Wickiser is going to join us to break that down. The All-Ohio football teams also have been released by the OHSAA, and we'll show you who got first team from around our area. Plus, it's a double dose of Monday Night Football, so we're going to tell you, we're going to try to pick some winners tonight, but you know how that goes on this show.
Yes.
But let's begin here with a head coach of a team that is 6-1 so far on the campaign in girls hoops. We're going to send it out to the Valley now with the one, the only, Scott Sellers. What's up, Coach? Looks like you're hanging out in like virtual Princess
Mario
reality
land.
video game land. What are you getting into tonight?
When COVID hit, I've told people this is where I take my calls from during the workday. I kicked my kids out of their playroom, and I kept it ever since. So it's a nice conversation piece of time. So that's where I'm taking this call from, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Well, you were just telling me off air that you don't play any video games, but you strike me as somebody who's good with your hands. So do you do like anything with woodworking or baking? You got nunchuck skills, like anything cool?
Nah, I play some golf. I used to play some video games. I do like 2K. When I get a chance to play 2K, I'll play something like that. I like GoldenEye and some of the old school games. So
Yes.
yeah, that's pretty cool.
Have you tried to play GoldenEye like now in 2023 since we've had like 20 Halos and the Call of Duties?
No,
like how
it would be
slow it is?
amazing though. If I had it, I would play it.
I have it.
Yeah,
You
Travis
can
has
stop
it.
on over to the apartment anytime. I got 2 controllers. I'll go at you and one-on-one in the
And you
cage.
can go 4 there. You can go 4 players. So it'd
Yeah.
be us 3, and we'll find somebody.
Okay, we'll do that. We'll
Hey,
do that.
Coach,
Andy Jardy, we'll get him.
Hey, I already asked you about this, and you already squashed it and said it wasn't true, but there was a rumor floating around. You were like a black belt in jiu-jitsu or something, some hand-to-hand combat. Do you know where that all stemmed from and how that got put out into the ether?
Who knows? I have no idea. Probably Travis. He was probably coming to a practice, and the girls probably made up something, and he ran with it. But I can tell you categorically that is not true.
Hey, I'm not like Adam Schefter or the other guys that are breaking false news here on the OH Report. That wasn't me, but you could.
Yeah,
It
that's
looked
fair.
like you could do it. I mean, you kicked me up and down the court when I was at practice, but that's neither.
You
here
did
nor
pretty
there.
good.
Yeah,
You did
thanks.
pretty good. We need to get you back.
I'll try to get back at some point this season.
When was the last time you
Let's
got
do
into
it.
a little tussle out in the street, Sellers, when you had to get your hands dirty? When was the last street fight for you?
Oh, it's been a long time. You know, when I've been out of the military since 2009, and so I try to lead a pretty boring life now. You know, you work, you coach girls basketball, you go to some games. So for me, that's exciting enough.
Sounds pretty much like my week, only instead of coaching, I'm just watching y'all out there doing it. And you guys off to a great start. Been a pleasure keeping up, 6-1 through the first 7. So give me some insight about kind of the vibe around the team and just what it feels like right now at this time of the season for you and your gals.
That's we played a lot of games early, right? So we're 7 games in, and we're only a couple weeks into the season. So we had a 2-game week, a 3-game week. We had 2 last week, and we got 1 this week, so we got a little bit of breathing room this week. So a great start is as you mentioned. If you would have told us at the beginning of the season we would have started out 6-1, I definitely would have taken it, considering Madison's big, Lex is big. Bellevue's a very, very good team. We were able to go up there on the road and win. We just got Pleasant the other night, and they are very good. They were 5-0 going into that. So we've played in some really close competitive games, and I'm really happy with kind of where we're at. We lost 4 kids that were top 8 rotation last year, so we're still finding ourselves a little bit. But the girls are playing hard. They're excited about the season. We got some big games coming up. It seems like we don't get a lot of breaks. Our conference is really good, and our non-conference schedule is really good as well. And we like that. It challenges us throughout the season, and hopefully that translates to the end of the year where you're competing for a league title and you're competing for a district championship. And good start though.
Yeah, your ladies have been doing that each of these last few years. You got a lot of veterans back, of course. I know the standards are high now because of what you've been able to produce the last couple of years out there on the hardwood. So I'm curious, who are some of your veterans that you know you can rely on throughout the grind and throughout the process here? Like maybe the holidays are coming up and you need them to stay focused and just dialed in. Who's some of the kids that you know that you can count on to show up? They give the maximum effort. They're bringing along some of the younger kids and just ultimately being a good teammate.
Well, we've been very fortunate. You know, when we made our district final run a couple years ago, I had two sophomores, Kylie Belcher and Annika Labaki, that were key contributors on that team. They're captains now. They're going to be four-year lettermen. You know, the team kind of goes how they go, and they groom that next group that's coming up. You know, last year we had Lily Wortman and Liv Davis and Casey Christina and Lauren Robinson, and that was kind of their role. And, you know, they pass it off to these kids. We're really lucky to have the seniors that we have, to include those two in Avery Wine. And, you know, if you look at the class down from them, you have Mel Blueball, you have Lily Weichel. Both of them will be three-year lettermen this year. They played in some big-time games. Brindley Barnett, our sophomore point guard, is coming along really nicely. And then, you know, we're finding kind of, you know, that sixth, seventh, eighth kind of rotation player now. They all have one thing in common. They play super hard. They are very coachable. They show up early, they leave late, they're great teammates. And, you know, as a coaching staff and as a coach in particular, I think that wins and losses aside, that's one of the key things that we look for. And, you know, we've just been very fortunate to have those kids in our group and in our program for the last several years. And we look to keep developing that as, you know, as the years go on.
So that's the veterans and the leaders, and no disrespect, Coach. You guys are doing a great job, but kind of what steals the show is at halftime. And I know it really impresses us, Travis. The Mini Colts, man. Does anything get better?
Well, yeah, but some of these schools around here have good feeder systems, and that's why they've been so consistently successful over the last few years. It's starting to be like that at Clear Fork. I know you're part of that feeder system. You have the Mini Colts. You're coaching your younger daughter's squad. I think the fifth grade team. Just how important is it having these feeder systems into this varsity squad that knows the game, that knows the system coming in, so you don't have to take extra time just teaching everything to them once they make it to 9th, 10th, 11th grade?
Yeah, I mean, it obviously helps. You know, we've in the last year, I think that if you look at our program, we had one kid in AAU last year, and she was a seventh grader. The year before that, maybe one. We have a lot of kids that play club volleyball, a lot of kids that play club soccer, and so we've got to coach a lot of really good athletes. And so, you know, one of the priorities for us a couple of years ago was, okay, let's get something established where these kids know that they can go to stuff in the summer, the spring, the fall. Let's do something like the Mini Colts where you know, there's kind of standards and they have some numbers that they need to hit, and they get to perform at half. You know, we've grown that thing now from 3 girls to 9 to 21, and we have 23 this year that are in that Mini Colt program. And I expect it to continue. I didn't create it. When I was growing up here, we had a Mini Colt program, and they always kept 4. They would do cuts, and you'd have 20, 30 boys come in. And I know that I was one of them in 4th grade, and then there was 2 5th graders and a 6th grader. And that group was kind of the core group for the team that I was on that went to regionals my sophomore year. And so, you know, it doesn't guarantee anything by any stretch of the imagination, but I think it does help raise some awareness. I think it helps raise some interest in the game from, you know, the youth. And we've had really good parents that have been supportive that will, you know, come to our games to watch, not just the big kids, but we've been able to, in a county where there's been some pretty good basketball, really be a good draw for the girls' game. And, you know, a lot of that has to do with, you know, we play hard and scrappy, and I think we play the right way. But, you know, we got 23 kids that are bringing 3, 4 parents each. So it helps fill the gym. And it's just a really cool time to be at Clear Fork and to be coaching girls basketball.
And it's one of the better, atmospheres down there. You turn out the lights. You got the Chicago Bulls theme going out when you do the introductions and stuff like that. But on the court, too, you know, despite losing some of your best defensive players last year, you guys are keeping it up. You're only giving up about 40 points per game. Just how much do you guys pride yourselves on your defense down at Clear Fork, going the whole length of the court, where other teams have to go the whole length of the court just to get to the hoop with you guys right in their face?
So it goes back to kind of what I was saying, which is we've been the beneficiary of coaching some really good athletes, and with really good athletes that have kind of conditioned to play a certain way and hard and go and scrap and compete. It's kind of it takes out some of the nights where you can't make a lot of threes, or you're missing some layups, or maybe you're not boxing out, and so. To get on the floor for us for any significant amount of time, you have to sit down and play on the defensive end. It's kind of a staple of what we are as a program. It's something that I think translates from year to year. If you can defend, I believe in it to my core. And I think that if anybody asked me, maybe what are your one or two things you pride yourself on every year? And, for us, it is man defense. Now, that doesn't mean we won't throw in some other stuff. We will, but I think a tough, competitive man defense, I believe in it kind of to my core, and it's kind of what we've done. And you'll play teams throughout the year. I've always said that, you get into districts or the best teams in your conference. I think that you need to be able to play tough half-court man defense. Some teams that we play are a little bit harder to pressure. And against some of those teams, they maybe don't pressure us as much as well, but I think that you have to sit down and play in the half court, and we spend a lot of time on working on it and film and review and practice. And, it's been really good to us the way we've kind of approached it and played the last, I'd call it, 3 years.
Yeah, it's especially tough when you're going against ball handlers as gifted as guys like Travis, as we were just showing some of those clips. You had him out of practice. I mean, the guy, he can really get it done out there, Coach. But
he can. Might have lost the feed, Brian.
Alex, everybody. All right. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate the time, brother. One of the great guys that we have here in North Central Ohio, of course, and a little entrepreneur. Got a lot of things going on the side, so he's more than just a basketball coach. And not a boring day, like Scott says. He's always got his hands full. And we're going to move on to our next topic. Speaking of having your hands full, these football players, Travis, definitely were that for their opponent on the gridiron all season long in Ohio. And we're going to show you all the first-team All-Ohioans. We're going to begin in Division 4, work our way to Division 7, and there were plenty of them. So here we go. Actually, I guess we're starting with the little guys, and we're going to go with Grayson Siders. What a monster this dude was.
D7, yeah.
Offensive Player of the Year, and deserved. I've seen him 3 times in the postseason and in the state championship game where he got a little bit bottled up, but almost 12 yards per carry. Like, come on, man. That's special kind of numbers, and his team going all the way to a state final. Grayson Siders, one of the, maybe actually the most complete all-around back that I've seen all year.
Oh, absolutely. We thought Danville was the team that was going to get out of the region, but then I saw this guy play, and I realized that, well, this is the team that is going to go to the state championship. And, other than a couple mistakes, he might have led them to a chance at competing with Marion Local, but this is well-deserved, and this is what they should have voted for Offensive Player of the Year. The kid is just phenomenal.
All right, let's show you all the winners from Division 7 now, and we'll begin with the defensive side of things. And you see, no surprise, a couple Downton teammates on there, 2 first-teamers, one on the defensive front, one in the backfield with Jones up front and then Mullet. And then we saw Walker Wickiser a bunch, of course, this season from Danville. I mean, you want to talk about a quarterback that gets first-team all-defense at the linebacker position? Pretty special.
Yeah, this kid did it all, and he kicked. He pulled a McAfee, recovered his own onside kick against Northmore, and the kid could do it all, but he made the big plays on the defensive side of the ball. Well-deserved by Walker Wickiser, and, if it wasn't for Dalton, they probably would have been playing for a state championship.
Let's show you all the first-team offensive guys now for Division 7, and we showed you Siders, and obviously very notable. How about Monroeville's coach, Mr. Nestor, getting the Man of the Year nod? DeLauder's on the list. Spittler, he was great in the season that the Cubs had, making Week 12. It seems like Dalton was kind of a thorn in everybody's spine right here, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always we have high hopes for all of our teams, but then there's this one other squad that just comes in and squashes our hopes. But shout out to Coach Nestor at Monroeville, the big turnaround they had from just last year to this year. They were playing for a conference championship in the final week of the season. They made it to the postseason as well, so that was well-deserved. I know Evan Benford was first-team defense as well.
All right, let's check out Division 6 now. And we had not one, but two guys that got first-team All-Ohio at the quarterback position, right from our own backyard, and both of them from the same conference. So how about Trevor Vogt and Blake Foose both making the countdown? The Eagles, of course, making it to Week 12. Foose, how about these numbers? 1965 passing, over 1,000 yards rushing, and 30 total tutties. So if that doesn't make you first-team All-Ohio, like what will? He belonged there.
All three of those first names you saw on there finished as rushing leaders this year. Foose and Vogt, they just showed it off with their feet as they led their teams to the postseason. And then Connor Dawson from Western Reserve was our rushing champion, by far over Dane Nauman, who you might see on this list here in a little bit. But our top three guys, well-deserving of the first team All-Ohio, sending their teams to the postseason.
All right, let's check out the defensive side of things in Division 6 and probably some more familiar names. And how about Cary, baby, with a couple of guys out there. Austin Niedercourt, well-deserved. Of course, Brodman, what a monster that kid is. But Caleb Cunningham, Crestview, a bit of a down year according to their standards, but he was still a monster up front.
Oh, yeah. He helped Crestview. They had a big upset to get them into the postseason, actually, of Western Reserve, and he was one of the reasons they got there. A Crestview team that, they lost a lot from a year ago, but to see, him leading the squad to what they were able to do at the end of the year, it seemed like they got their footing at the end of the year. He was one of the main reasons why. And
Blake Elliott, the linebacker from East Knox, not only one of the leading rushers in the KMAC, actually, I think he finished like a yard ahead in the regular season. Above the Lauder, also gets it for defensive efforts. The leading tackler in the league, too.
That's KMAC football.
He's going to
play both sides of the ball.
Yeah, he's going to be back for a senior year, too, so we'll be seeing a whole lot more of number 10. All right, flip the script. Check out D5. You mentioned Dane Nauman. There he is from Highland. Sensational year again. Not as good as his junior year statistically, but still almost 1,700 yards and 19 touchdowns.
Well, he played some good defenses that keyed on him, and despite that, he was still able to average over 100 yards rushing a game. Finished number 2 for the second of 3 years. He finished as the champion last year as well. So those numbers, just look at the speed he has. Such a big back. He's going to do well in college. Yeah, oh, absolutely. Fluid.
Do we have any defensive guys in D5?
Yeah, it's only offensive. We only had 2 offensive players. Not a lot of teams in D5. You had Fredericktown, Pleasant, Highland were the teams that made it. So Fredericktown sorrowfully did not have any first-team players.
A whole lot of offense in Division 4, including the Offensive Player of the Year, just a sophomore, Braden DeVito of Shelby. You were saying that he probably should have been in the conversation for Mr. Ohio. If he does the same type of stuff next year that he did this season, he probably is going to be on that finalist sheet.
He has at least put his name on notice for these awards coming up next year. If he can, like you said, if he can continue to put up these numbers now. He loses one of the top receivers in all of North Central Ohio, who actually was the top receiver in North Central Ohio. If he can continue to do it with other receivers, that would surely show that he has the ability to be Mr. Ohio.
And
he has the running ability.
Yeah, he does it both on the ground, and plus he's got a great arm. But we saw one of his touchdown passes was 55 yards on the fly, in stride.
Yeah, kid got a cannon.
Holder Hunter, of course, make the postseason, won 7 games with Gallion, almost beat West Holmes too. Lincoln Tyrell, his teammate, had win streaks of 4 games, 3 games. So Gallion, a team that they were really good on both sides of the football, and that's why you see they got 3 different guys named. And Coach Dick, he's got that program. They're striding in the right direction, man. They're progressively taking steps. Just got to get over that hump in the postseason.
It's all in that pickle juice, man. All in that pickle juice.
Delicious.
Also, Landon Campbell for the brand. We had 2 kickers, first team punters. Just got to shout them out too.
So there are your first team All-Ohioans from Division 4 through Division 7 from right here in our own backyard. But we're going to transition now because it is a Victory Monday, Travis, for some of us. And that means the Cleveland Browns, a big winner yesterday, and they needed it badly. So we now control our own destiny as far as the postseason is concerned. And we did it with a quarterback who probably has more gray hairs than I do. Unbelievable. A young guy that has none yet, as far as I know, Lucus Wickiser. He's been writing for us all season long on the Cleebus. Lucas, what's going on, man? How crazy is this that we're on our fourth quarterback? We're only in week 12, and somehow, some way, we're at the top of the food charts when it comes to the wild card.
Yeah, baby.
Woo!
I know it's a couple weeks. I got to do this again. Oh man. Oh boy. Brian, I can't believe what happened yesterday. I mean, I'm still glad Flacco's doing what he's doing, but he might still have something left in the tank. I mean, he's 38 years old, but he's looking like middle of the career right now for how he played the other day. He was fantastic. The defense got stops when they needed to. Wasn't pretty. It was about as good looking as me with a 4-day beard and bedhead, but it worked.
Hey, man, as long as it gets the dates, that's all that matters, Lucas. It doesn't matter how you roll out of bed, but you're absolutely right. All the chatter and the conversation pre-game yesterday was Trevor Lawrence. He's actually going to play. He was looking really good, doing a lot of different drills before the contest, moving around, looking real nice, but old Joe Flacco, I mean, he's like restoring an old car out there. How did nobody want this guy? I know he's a little long in the tooth, but at the same time, boy, he's been spinning it. And he looks confident, comfortable out there despite only being on the team for about 12 days.
Oh, boy. You know, I never thought a quarterback like him could be plug and play. I mean, and I know he still had to learn the system when he first got here. I mean, obviously you need to learn the playbook and kind of get acclimated, but it just shows what kind of veteran he is. When he could come in and learn the playbook like he did that fast and just lead the team the way he did. And this offense kind of had some swag, man. And never did I think I would say that about a 38-year-old quarterback leading the way, but man, oh man, if we can just make it to the postseason, who knows? I mean, with the way he's playing, if our defense shows up, if we make the playoffs, they could win a playoff game. I'll say it right here. If they get there, they could win a playoff game.
I actually agree with you because the AFC is so jumbled. I mean, the Ratbirds are right now the number 1 seed, and they don't look like the Ravens of old or anything like that.
No.
It's just so open wide that anybody that makes it into this top 7 is got a chance. I mean, even look at the Buffalo Bills. They're outside looking in. They might be making like a Steelers run if they get into the 7 seed, making a run. All that. But, I mean, anybody that makes it into the playoffs this year has a legit chance of making maybe 1 or 2 victories.
And I think for us specifically, Lucas, you wrote in your article about the fact that the Browns defense returned. They gave up 27 points, but they were finally getting hits on the quarterback. I think Trevor Lawrence, maybe 12 times he got knocked down, sacked 4 times, threw 3 picks. So I think that's really kind of the key that unlocks everything for our success, is if that defense can come to play and be physical and play with some of that swag, that it then translates to the offense as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only just translates to the offense, like I said in my article, they play good front-to-back football. And for those of you at home, if you haven't followed my articles, what I mean when I say front-to-back is when you get Myles Garrett and company loose, when somebody gets loose up front, when the defensive line can generate pressure, that allows a talented group of cornerbacks and safeties to make big plays. And then if that's all flowing, you know, they're hungry, they're feeding on things. And when they're doing well, the offense does their job, and we take care of business. It kind of just goes hand in hand in hand. It's several different levels here.
And how about the special teams, baby? Corey Bajorquez looking like he's got a Terminator leg. You don't think about the punter like really kind of being a position that makes a big difference, but it was yesterday. He kicked one, like 70 yards? He pinned him deep multiple times. Right. He pinned him deep, I think, 3 times inside the 20. And I actually got the stat wrong. I think ESPN got it wrong because I've heard 70. I've heard 72. I said 72. I think it's officially 75. I mean, when he got a hold of it, it just hung in the air for at least a good solid 3.5 seconds. And, guys, I got to tell you what happened that day when he let one loose. My mother was watching the game with me at home. Shout out to Stacey Wickiser. And I started screaming like they scored a touchdown. I go, Mom, you have no idea how far he kicked this thing. And, oh, boy, that's got to be one of the best punts I've ever seen in my life. It just kept going. It had at least 3.5 seconds of hang time. It was nuts. I mean, Jim Tressel used to say the punt, it's the most important play in the football game. It kind of was for the Browns at times yesterday. He was a big difference maker. But okay, Lucas, so we're in a great position, but now you got to start looking at the upcoming schedule, and it's pretty favorable for these Browns. Bears, at Texans, Jets, and against a Burrow-less Bengals team down in Cincy. So am I nuts to think that we can finish this regular season with 5 straight wins?
I don't think you're nuts. I don't think you're nuts at all for thinking that, Brian. But I will say this, and I didn't put this in my article because it didn't happen at the time. But one other major injury that we have, and I don't want to spoil the mood. DeJuan Jones will be out for the rest of the year. I think he had some injury for his knee in practice, and the doctors checked it out, and he wasn't ready to go. He won't be ready to go for the rest of the year. But this team has been tough all year long. So you're not nuts to think they could win 5 straight games. Now, realistically, I still think they'll win 2 of the next 4. I think they'll win 10 or 11. Remember when we said over-under for 4.5 wins? I think the Browns are going to get 10 wins is what I would say. But you're not nuts to think they could win out. That would be nice. That'd be wonderful.
And also my bets are hopefully looking good tonight if we do that. What do you think of that, Lucas? What do you think of that bet? You think that's going to hit finally?
What was the bet? I didn't see it.
Oh,
you took it away.
We'll bring it up later then.
Yeah.
But I've had such bad luck. But I'm not trying to bash Browns fans right here. But with what's happened to the Browns and all this past, you have all this hope. You're in a good position, and then they don't finish. Do you feel like this is a team, honestly, that can finish and get you a high seed in the playoffs? Maybe there's people out there even saying there is still a path to the number 1 seed in the AFC North Championship. Is this a team that gives you guys the hope that you're not going to collapse down the stretch and this is going to fall apart?
I'm not going to sit here and say that they're the team that could do this. I'm just worried about surviving the final 4 games, Travis. I mean, I'm literally taking it one at a time. But the way I look at it as a Browns fan, a veteran Browns fan, it's just like, okay, when's the other shoe going to drop? Like I thought it was after we lost to the Rams. That's when I thought we were going to start slipping, because if we would have lost Sunday, that would have been the beginning of the end there. But I'm just worried about making it to the end of the season. But if they can make it, they can make some noise. But I don't think they'll get the top seed in the AFC. I think the Ravens will win the division.
Well,
they have to. Yeah, you have the Dolphins too, but I think the Ravens will win the division right now, if I'm being honest. I hate saying that. I would love to see us steal it. It'd be our first title in almost 35 years, but I'm just worried about surviving these final 4 games. But I think they can make some noise. I'm just hoping they stay somewhat healthy, and I use that term very, very, very loosely.
What have you, Brian? Do you think this is
I've
different?
been saying all year, Lucas, it's a new dawn of a new day up by the lake. Things are starting to break in our favor. There were too many Andy Dufresne moments where we had to trudge through miles and miles of some stuff that you don't want to talk about. We made it to the other side. We're out there. The rain is falling on top of us. It doesn't matter who we got playing quarterback. It doesn't matter who's at left tackle or right guard or center or none of that. This is a team that's playing inspired. We're getting some pretty decent coaching more often than not, specifically on the defensive side of things. And I'm a pretty true believer that this is the year that we're going to break through. We're going to get into the playoffs. Teams aren't going to want to play against the Browns. I think it doesn't matter who's at quarterback for us. If Joe Flacco keeps standing tall the way that he has been and doesn't absorb the hits, I think that's the guy to roll with. I know he was just named the starter for the rest of the season. So this is the biggest belief that I've had. And I kind of feel it when I'm around my fellow Browns fans, that it's not the same doom and gloom when things don't go right. Oh, man, well, how are we going to blow it again today? I'm not sensing that this season. I think that there is a new spirit and energy, Lucas, and at least in my household, I know there is, because that's the only way that I'm allowing this thing. I feel like I'm projecting onto the team from my couch when I'm watching at home or from wherever. And as long as you can bring the good vibes, man, good things are going to happen, right?
Right. And I will say this, and there are a lot, and football is an inherently violent, nasty game. But I'll say this right here: I'm dropping the gauntlet. Cleveland is the toughest team in the league right now. There is nobody close to the Browns. I mean, as far as physically tough, resilient, mentally tough, I don't know how they're doing it. Like you said, I think it's just belief in themselves. I think, it literally is next man up mentality, and they're like, okay, we lost somebody else. This is what we're paid for, even if we're second stringers, third stringers. And even though I don't want to look beyond 2023, that's got to give you some hope for 2024. I mean, you're getting some of these guys who wouldn't normally get starting action, a lot of action. And when these starters come back, if something bad happens, God forbid, in 24, we'll be one of the deepest teams in the league. So, but yeah, like I said, I'm just focused on one game at a time, get to the playoffs, and then after that, you're playing with house money. And I think the Browns could win a playoff game or two if Flacco keeps it up.
Speaking of playing with house money, getting to the postseason, I bet you Browns fans would want to get a first-round matchup with the Kansas City Chiefs. And speaking of the Chiefs, what did you think of crybaby Mahomes at the end of the game against the Bills?
Oh, don't get me started. Don't get me started. I mean, go ahead, Travis. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, Tony was clearly offsides. They're complaining the ref didn't tell him he was offside. But he's so far offsides. How do you not know that? And why is Mahomes going nuts on the referee? He should be going off on Tony for being so dumb to be a foot and a half across from the ball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I don't get that. I mean, you had two big players yesterday talking about the officiating, and one was justified. I would say Myles Garrett was justified for complaining because he's held on practically, it seems like, every play. And then Patrick Mahomes.
I think the only two players that don't get calls.
Right, Watt and Garrett. I would agree with you on Watt too. But yeah, I looked at the call again. Like my dad and my brother-in-law texted me about it. I wasn't watching that game at the time, but I went back and looked at the call. I go, what is he upset about? If anything, like you said, he should be upset at Tony. But then his argument was because, what do you say? The refs were trying to prevent greatness. It's like, dude, you got to do it legally, man. You can't be – if he was any more offsides, he would have been playing defense. Tony.
Yeah,
so
he was so far offsides. And I know the referees say that you don't have to say, if he points at you, they don't have to tell him back if they're on sides or not.
Right.
The referee said he couldn't even see the ball down the line. And at that point – you should know yourself that you're not it's whatever, but it was funny to see them lose Josh Allen and the Bills like that.
Right, and I'll tell you this, and maybe I'm feeling brave today, but I told my dad, I said, Pop, I said, if the Browns played the Chiefs and that defense actually showed up, Mahomes has a lot more to worry about than missed calls. He's got to worry about Myles Garrett and those guys coming after him. That one I would love to get a matchup against the Chiefs because they kind of got away with one in 2020. We should have beat them in the divisional round that year. I'm still salty.
Their backup quarterback went and got a big first down, but that's
until Henny got a first down.
You get payback this year, right, Brian?
I hope so. Thanks for including me back in on the conversation, Lucas. Hey man, we still got one more guest to get to here, Luke. So we appreciate you chiming in, and we'll see you next week, hopefully after another Browns win on a Victory Monday, man. Check out his articles on the OH.Report on the Cleebus. All the Cleveland Browns and Ohio State Buckeyes.
Send good vibes your way, boys.
Thank you, sir.
Catch you later.
All right, Trav, let's make a segue from a team that's never even played for a championship to an athlete who's not only won a championship in high school undefeated, but just capped off an undefeated national championship season with Florida State women's soccer, the one, the only, the Ohio GOAT of soccer, Taylor Huff.
Woo!
Hey. What's up? Where are you hanging out at? When did the celebration end from your natty, or has it? Are you guys kind of still on a bender out there?
Yeah, we're into finals now, so it's not a celebration here anymore. But no, it was fun this week getting to be with the girls and just celebrating the year.
Well, when you bring home the big trophy from a national championship performance, you still have to take finals? Like, what's up with that? I just thought that you got like one of those presidential pardons.
Yeah, I remember last year when I went on my visit, they were actually here and they were taking finals, and a lot of them got excused. But we went on so late this year, so my last final is later this week. But it's super late, so I don't get to come home for a little bit. But finals were last week. The championship was last week, so this week's finals. So unfortunately, yeah, we have to.
Well, we won't burn up too many minutes of your precious studying time. How the grades looking, though? Are we bringing back 4.0s along with national championships?
I'm trying to. I mean, I'm at A's and B's right now, so I just got to take what college has given me. It's definitely challenging, but trying to do my best to balance both.
All right, I got to know about the party scene, though. So you win last Monday, the championship. Did you get invited to any cool events, or what was one of the coolest things that you've got to be a part of here over these last 7 days?
Yeah, I mean, they did a lot for us in the community so far, and I mean, I'm sure they're going to keep coming in the spring just with so many people wanting us and acknowledging but we got to come back so we flew in the Tuesday after the game and everything. And as soon as we got back, we had like an hour to ourselves. And then the whole community wanted to get together with us. And we got to go out by the spear and light the spear, which doesn't happen too often because it was a national championship. And then so we got to see everyone from the community, and then everyone was invited back up to the Champions Club where we got to have a ceremony for us. So it was really cool getting to see all of our supporters and just getting to be with everyone.
Ooh, the Champions Club. I like the sound of that. And now you get VIP access, I presume, for life. So that's pretty fantastic. So a whole week of partying, but now you're back to finals. That's kind of too bad. But when does the work start again to try to do it all over for next season? Do you guys get a mini break, or is it kind of like right back into the saddle?
It's kind of right back into it. I took a week off, so I'll start running tomorrow and getting back into it. But I go to England over the break, so I can't really take too much time off because I'll be playing games over there. But as far as everyone else, our strength and conditioning coach here is really good about just where we're at mentally and physically. We're allowed to do whatever we want over the break, whatever that means for us, just to be ready back in January when we start again.
So you're going overseas. You're going to be competing for a team in England for what? Give me some more details.
So I play for a team back home called Cleveland Ambassadors, and basically we're just going over there to challenge them because the teams over there are getting ready for the second half of their season. So just getting to play against them in scrimmages. So we'll be playing against some really big teams, Everton, West Ham. So it's really exciting because those are the teams that I potentially want to play for when I'm older. So getting to play against them is a huge opportunity.
I love how you say when you're older, like by next year is what we're talking about here.
Maybe, we'll see. No, it's like super hard to play for them.
Absolutely, and I know that's your dream, is to play professional soccer, and will as soon as you decide to make that leap to the next level. We were just running some clips, though, from your high school days when you had that undefeated state championship season. So now that you've got to do both, give me a little comparison. When you're with your day ones with the Madison Lady Rams, making that journey, even though it was kind of a weird year with the COVID thing, versus now you're playing against some of the best girls in the entire country and winning the whole thing. How are these similar? And then also, what are some of the striking differences between doing it with your girls when you're young and now doing it when you're a little bit more mature?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's so many similarities because the team we had this year was just so close, and it reminded me of how close we were my senior year when we won the state championship. And I've learned I've just learned so much about how a team and the chemistry between can go so far when the times are hard. So definitely the similarity was the team and the bonds and the chemistry that we had on the field. It definitely translated. And obviously the competition's way harder. We're playing against some of the best people in the country and even some rising stars in the whole entire world. So it's definitely cool getting to play at that level and just continuing to challenge myself and just be at the highest level of college soccer. It's such a cool feeling, and getting to share that with my teammates and winning it all was just insane.
Taylor, first of all, proud of you, girl. All the way through. That was an amazing run you guys had this year. But let's just talk about the tournament run itself. You gave up, one goal?
One.
Throughout the whole tournament. Just you guys were on another level. How do you feel you guys were feeling going into this tournament run? You felt like you were peaking at the right time, or what? Because it seemed like you were just steamrolling your way through, and it was never a doubt.
Yeah, no, never a doubt. And I was even talking to my coach about this. I was like, for a national championship at the highest level, I was not even nervous going into the game. I was just so confident in our ability. And I think that's just how everyone kind of felt. We had that, I guess, demeanor where we weren't going to lose kind of thing. And you can have that, but when it's practiced every single day since August, it creates a huge level that separates us. And I think that was definitely seen on the highest stage. And obviously beating Stanford 5-1 has, I don't know if it's ever happened that large of a marginal between goals. And I guess getting to do that wasn't really I mean, it was probably a shock to more people, but us on the field, we were just like, this is so much fun getting to do this, and we worked so hard to do it. So, no, it was definitely such a cool opportunity, and definitely had so much confidence in this team.
When you guys did get back to campus, did that victory kind of ease the mood since you guys got robbed out of the college football playoff?
I know. I feel so bad for them. I can't imagine as a athlete and just getting to play and have these opportunities. I can't imagine how they're feeling, whether they deserved it or not. I'm obviously not into football like that. But personally, I can't imagine doing everything right, 13-0, best I can do, and just not getting to compete for a national championship or even have the opportunity. So definitely feel for our football guys here, and I know it definitely is super sad, and obviously had to go win it for them. But no, that's so hard as an athlete. Just you put in so much time and effort and just doing your job, and obviously not having the rankings or getting to go for a national championship is hard.
And when the time was winding down, you guys knew you had it won. Did you feel like a veteran to this since, you guys were counting down the seconds in the state championship game? Did you know what you were going to do, or were there just emotions, you just let them fly and you just went crazy?
Yeah, you just got to let them fly. You got to take it all in. I mean, after the state championship, I just remember running everywhere. You just want to hug everyone. It's just a celebration. I think I did that on the field again, but definitely so much emotion and just taking it all in. Even after the game, I remember state championship, I was just like, I look up and I'm just like, this is insane. Like, this is my life. And I think I did that in the national championship after too. I'm just like, wow, this is crazy.
So yeah, we got to capitalize on this ASAP, Taylor. When you're at your peak right now, obviously the iron's hot. So we made your very own logo for you. It looks a little bit similar to one that Nike might have made for one of their golfers, but we want you to check this out. Maybe you can start putting this to use. Maybe I see some NIL money in your future for sure.
Yes.
So what do you think? I know you've been a little bit more active on the Instagram since we talked to you this summer. So it looks like you're starting to make a little bit more presence for yourself out there.
No, I'm definitely trying. I'm new to this NIL space and even just social media in general. I have a love-hate relationship, I would think, with it. Obviously, social media is a huge thing and it can be positive. However, sometimes it can be a bit negative and you can focus too much on it. So I try to balance it, but no, definitely getting into that space, and it's definitely good to keep up with it. But I love the logo.
Awesome. Well, hey, are we gifting that to her? That's all yours, T. Well, we're going to send that over to you. I'll get you on a little text message, and you can start put it on everything, and then just watch the bucks start flowing in. So we're going to make that happen for you soon. I know you're taking things kind of one step at a time, though, with your career. You want to get your education out of the way, probably be two-time national champion before you move on. But I saw there's a few departures out there from the women's national team here in America. Julie Ertz now gone. Of course, we know Megan Rapinoe. So where are you at, like in kind of like that lineage and that line? How close are we to seeing you maybe potentially on the Olympic team next year?
Yeah, no, I mean, I hope I'm definitely up there, but just trying to do my thing. And obviously I took care of it this fall, so just controlling what I can control and then hopefully getting that call up when the time's right. But no, I think it's super exciting for the future of the national team. I know that we are getting a new coach, Emma Hayes, great person from Chelsea. So getting her is super exciting and just for the future of U.S. soccer. And I know that a few of my friends got called into the national team this past camp. So it's super exciting to see the next generation, just like potentially me in a few years, and hoping that I can have that opportunity. But yeah, it's super cool to see people my age get called in, and just going to continue doing my thing, and hopefully I'm there.
Well, we know doing your thing, it's good enough at every level so far, so we imagine that trend is going to continue here. Maybe you get an early Christmas present, get a phone call and find out that you're going to be competing during this next summer Olympic Games. And maybe speaking of Christmas lists, is that something that you still do? Like, are you still letting old mama and papa know, like, you got a few things that need to be tended to? And Santa Claus, too, of course, with the main gifts.
No, they'll probably watch this and want the information because they've asked me so many times, what do you want? And I'm like, I honestly don't need anything. I got a national championship. I have everything I need. I can't really complain too much, so I don't really need anything.
Maybe a trophy case?
Maybe.
I think she already has one at her home in her basement.
It's probably overflowed
Everything's
now.
locked up. They don't even see
All
any of the trophies
Americans,
anymore.
all that stuff. You never know. She might need more space.
All right, Taylor, you pay attention to NFL football at all?
A little bit.
All right, well, there's not one but two Monday Night Football games going down tonight. I shouldn't say the first one. They're both kicking off at the same time.
They're both kicked off.
So we got Titans at Dolphins. Miami's a 13.5-point favorite, and then Packers at Giants, and the Giants are a 5.5-point underdog. So me and Travis, we've been awful at making picks all year here on the show. We predicted 0 winners. So you tell me, who do you like? Titans versus Dolphins, but the Dolphins are a 13.5-point favorite, or Packers at Giants, and the Giants are an underdog? Make some picks for me.
I'm going Dolphins. I think that's a good
Miami
pick.
vibe
And
going.
I know
Why not? All winners down there.
you got to go
it.
with Florida. You got to go with Florida. And I know people will probably hate me for this, but I'm like, there's this like TikToker and influencer, Alex Earl, and she dates Braxton, who's on the Dolphins. I forget what position he plays, but anyways, that's how I know the Dolphins. I don't know anyone on the Packers.
Don't know anybody who's dating a
This is
Packer, huh? I think that great
No, I
gymnast
don't.
is,
Oh, yeah,
right?
Simone
Simone
Biles.
Biles.
Oh, okay. We'll go with Packers then.
That makes sense. Yeah. Hey, your
If I get these
way,
right, this is going to be funny.
I was going to say, your way of making picks is just as good as me and Travis, because we're doing insight, we're reading articles, and then we still come out on the losing
I
end.
did hit one. Thank you, Columbus Crew, for winning the MLS Cup and
How about
cashing
that?
some money
Yes.
in too.
Did
It
you
was
watch
a
that
great,
game today? That was
great
pretty awesome.
soccer week for Ohio.
No, I know. I was so proud, being from Ohio and loving that and going to Columbus Crew games when I was younger. I was like, that's awesome. I love to see that.
Speaking of which, what do you think about the Women's League NWSL? Is that something that you would consider playing in, or do you already have kind of your mind and your heart set on going overseas?
No, I think I'm open to any options, but the NWSL is getting up there and it's becoming more established, and we're seeing so many people invest into it, so much more money than we've seen in the past. So it's definitely more appealing now than it was in the previous years. But getting drafted is such a cool opportunity, and just getting to play in the United States. I'm obviously not sure what I'm going to do, but definitely an option. And I like watching the games, and I think it's so cool to watch players that I played against in college go pro and getting to play for the NWSL. So it's definitely cool, and such a great opportunity to be around. And just there's so many different teams now, and it's becoming more established, which is super cool to see.
Any team that drafts you, obviously, is going to be lucky to have you. You're one of the bright, shining stars that we have in all of women's soccer. So keep up the good work. Get some A's on your finals, Taylor, and just keep killing it down there at Florida State. We're going to be keeping an eye and wishing you all the best luck out here in Ohio. So enjoy your time down there where it's probably about 65 and sunny. And if you get a chance to come back up here to the Buckeye State, make sure you drop by and break your way through the icicles and stuff to get here to OH.Report, all right?
Will do. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Merry Christmas,
All right,
Taylor.
yeah, Merry Christmas, team. Taylor Huff, one of the best that we have in the entire country.
She's the GOAT in North Central Ohio. I'm sorry, there's other players. I mean, we got Farmer Gronk, Cade Stover out there doing his thing, but Taylor Huff, state champion, national champion, soon to be World Cup champion, soon to be Olympic gold medalist. Just that's why I said she needs a bigger trophy case, not only for the stuff she has, but you got to think for the future too.
Maybe we can just move it down here. I don't know.
Oh, I would gladly. Yeah.
Just put everything over in a corner.
Mm-hmm. No, you put it right in front. Put it on our wall of fame, just right next to it. Put all of her accolades.
That's an idea.
You don't want to put. Nobody puts T Huff in a corner.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Great point. Yeah, all tournament selection team, second team All-American this year too, and I think she had the third most assists in the history of Florida State soccer, which they've had a pretty darn good program throughout the course of their history so far. So.
And this season of giving, it's always good to shout out the assist too.
No doubt. All right, Trav. It's too late, but I know that you've already placed Yin's bet, and then Jonathan Langdon's here in the
buddy
building.
Jonathan Langdon
He
bet
told
it
you,
too.
buddy. So how are you guys going to make some money? Tell me about it.
So I'm going with the team that's trying to get back the #1 seed in the AFC tonight, the Dolphins against the Tennessee Titans. And what we saw with the Colts coming back, Gardner Minshew just picked Tennessee apart last week, especially at the end of the game for the passing yards. So I got the Dolphins -9.5. It was actually -13.5.
Right.
I bought a couple points to get it down to 9.5, so a 10-point victory would win it. Then Tua, over 250 passing yards. Tyreek Hill and Waddle, I think they're going to get one big chunk play at least to get their numbers up there. So Hill 90 plus, and I think his over-under was like 103, so a little bit less than that. Waddle 60 plus, and then Derrick Henry, he's going to eat. He's going to get some yardage. I mean, especially if they're going to be down. Well, hopefully they're not down early, but I think he's going to get at least one broken play. He always runs a couple people over, so just 50 plus rush yards. 50 plus rush yards. He's done that, I think, the last 4 weeks, at least 50 yards. So it's plus 430. For some reason, FanDuel and DraftKings, no Monday night boosts this week. I guess they're getting ready for their Saturday, their holiday stuff, but no boost. So this is just, it's plus 430, $10 pays 53.
I think it's week 13 though, isn't it?
Oh, I forgot to change that because I haven't been here in so long.
I was just wondering. I was like, wait, we still have 7 more weeks to go? No, we got about 4 more.
No, we got 4. I did not change that. You actually caught me on the logo too because I had it Dolphins-Giants earlier. But we got an update.
Oh, it looks like he needs
drive,
51 more yards, does Derrick Henry.
Hey, you could do that in one play, though. But still, $10 gets you 53 plus 430. So it's not a terrible
Or kids,
thing.
keep that $10 in your pocket. And
Well, that's why we showed
it
at the end when you can't even do it. That's why we showed at the end when you can't even make the bet because it's probably going to lose. Dolphins will win probably by 9 points. That's what happens.
Trying to show you these after kickoff has already started.
Now, I will say the Placeians bets does not back any of the Place Y'all's bets, the last 2 ones that were outrageous, because those were just, they were bad. I mean, they're so crazy. Stuff's falling in the background right now. But, those weren't, you need to make your bet. Maybe for week 18, you pick one.
I'll get out there eventually. I've been on a mini heater here these last few weeks on the NFL. So
Columbus saved me.
I'm going like this.
Columbus saved me, and I was calling a basketball game where I probably would have put money on Florida State winning the national championship too. But finally won with the crew. Congratulations, Columbus.
Way to go, Columbus. Man, city of champions.
That was a fun match too. LAFC really put it on them at the end, and they were able to hold off.
Hold off just enough there.
Youngest goalkeeper in MLS history, I think, to win a
23
championship. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
baby.
I think they said he's one of the backups on the men's national team now too. So the future's bright. Women's and men's teams.
For sure. Yeah. So cool. And I think Columbus is trying to get a women's
That's
team
what I said. How cool would that be if she'd be the first ever pick?
She could be the face of the franchise. For sure. She'd be the face of any franchise she goes to.
Pretty much put the OH.Report on the map. So
love it. Yeah, big shout out to Taylor Huff jumping on the show here tonight in the middle of her studying. She always seems to be able to juggle 400 things at once and still crushes all of them. So thanks to T Huff, and you're welcome for the new logo. Hopefully that takes you places. And if Tiger Woods people come calling, wasn't us. Scott Sellers for calling in earlier in the show. Great start for him, and just always a fun guy to talk to. I do need to find out, since he froze there, if he's bought his kids any trash gifts that he kind of is just like, man, what was I doing with that one? It didn't work out.
Have you, Brian?
Well, I wouldn't say trash gifts, but I've bought gifts for my kids that were quite expensive that they said that they really, really needed. And then it turns out they're just hanging on the wall, or they end up in the, to go out to the Volunteers of America in about 6 months later. So I bought both of my kids electric guitars very recently, or Santa Claus brought one.
Because of Stranger Things. I thought she was still strum it, not so much anymore.
They still got them, but they get played once every month and a half. So for that type of investment for Santa and his elves to construct those things, it's a lot of time and effort.
Well, I will say they're starting to film the new Stranger Things, so if they come back with the guitar playing, maybe Aaliyah gets back into it, because I know that was one of the reasons she wanted to learn the guitar. So maybe hold on to it until at least the new season comes out next year, and maybe she'll get back on it. But if not, some kid's going to be really happy once they go to Volunteers of America. Was there ever a gift that you wanted so badly and then played with it 3 times? Mine was Super Van City. That was one of the gifts I had last year on the podcast.
Nothing super expensive. My parents couldn't afford anything cool back in the day. I used to have to split Christmas presents with my brother. Santa used to give us joint presents all the time.
Like a Sega or something
I got a Sega. Always wanted a Super Nintendo, but Santa Claus never was able to come through with that one.
They have the mini ones for $100 that have some of the games on there you can get.
They do now. Back
I
then,
thought you had one in the house.
Well, I got one as an adult, but I had to buy myself.
Well, still,
but yeah,
nostalgia
Santa's
factor.
Little reindeer never thought that they needed to tote one to my house. So never anything that I didn't get use out of that I can remember.
That's good.
Mother did buy me those jump shoes.
Yes, the moon shoes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Moon shoes, yeah, where they purple. Nickelodeon
Strength
thing?
shoes
Okay.
is actually no. Strength shoes is what they are called. Where you would it had just a ginormous sole and then your heel was up.
Yeah.
And those I think Mama paid $200 for, and then we got the DVD, and they just sucked. Like using them wasn't cool, and then I think factually they just don't do a whole lot. Matter of fact, more injuries than I
So
think.
that's why you have skinny calves.
Yeah, they're not that big. You're right. I need to work on that. I actually got the strength shoes at my house now. My mom
Is it
bought
the
those
ones
for
that
me
you
when I
like,
was 17.
your heel goes down? And you
I'll
push
let you
like
try
that?
them on. I'll let you see what you think
It gives
about
you a
them.
workout. I've heard. I've seen people
It's
use
tough.
it. Yeah.
It's tough. All right, well, I got me a Christmas present. I'm going to go cuddle up on the couch at home, and I'm going to watch Yin's bet fail yet again. But, hey, at least we're out here and we're trying, right? It's the thought that counts. But from me, Travis, and all of us here at the OH.Report, wishing you a happy early Christmas. We will see you one more time before Santa Claus comes to town. So check back with us on Monday, and in between now and then, a whole lot of live streams and highlights that you can watch right here on the OH.Report.
We'll have stories about the Christmas party, too.
That's right. Ooh, that's right. See you in
Money,
Cleveland.
ask if this cold world's making her nose runny. She melted. I wear a cape that is velvet. Couldn't see it, she felt it. See it all like I'm Elvis. Move my hips like I'm Elvis. I don't pitch it, I sell it. Couldn't picture me jealous. Turning fans into zealots. Tuning in when I tell it. There were 15 people at the gig saying, oh my God, what fun this is. Did it all, did it right, did it big. Yeah, buddy, we were loving it. New cards, new deck, new life. King of Cups, he comes up right. Always, all days, all nights. Sing do-wah, do-wah, do-wah. New cards, new deck, new life. King of Cups, he comes up right.